All right, welcome. Today we're going to break down one of the most critical decisions you'll ever make on a major tech project, choosing the right architectural framework. Get it right and you build a skyscraper. Get it wrong, well, you get a pile of rubble. Okay, let's dive in.
So, picture this. You're kicking off a huge, complex project. The stakes are sky high. The absolute last thing you want is for the whole thing to just crumble under its own weight a few months or a year from now. So, how do you make sure that what you're building is solid, scalable, and actually, does the job it's supposed to do?
Well, it really all comes down to the blueprint. In our world, we call this an architectural framework. It's the master plan, the guide for every single decision that follows. It ensures all the pieces of the puzzle actually fit together. And if you get this part wrong, you're basically setting yourself up for failure before you've even written a single line of code.
So, to help you make that first all-important choice, we're putting 4 heavyweights in the ring, side by side: Attribute-Driven Design version 2, TOGAF 10, NAF version 4, and the IEEE 40-2010 standard. We're going to look at what they are, what they're best at, and most importantly, when you should pull each one out of your toolbox.
All right, first up, let's meet our contenders. And trust me, each one has its own unique personality and a very, very specific job to do.
Let's kick things off with AAD version 2. I want you to think of this one as the quality-obsessed specialist. Its entire purpose, its reason for existing, is to design software around those tricky non-functional requirements, what it calls quality attributes. We're talking about things like performance, security, and how easy the system is to change down the road. All that good stuff.
So how does this actually work in practice? Well, as you can see here, it's not a one-and-done kind of thing. It's an iterative loop. You start with all your requirements. Then you choose a piece of the system, figure out what's most important for that piece, and pick a design. And then you rinse and repeat this process, breaking the system down, piece by piece, refining the design with every pass until the whole picture is complete.
Next up, we have TOGAF 10, the Corporate Enterprise Planner. Now, if AD is down in the weeds focusing on a single software system, TOGAF is like the CEO, looking out from the 30,000-foot view at the entire organization. Its main goal is to make sure all the IT systems are perfectly aligned with the company's big business goals, all managed through some pretty robust governance.
And the heart and soul of TOGAF is something called the Architecture Development Method, or ADM. It's this continuous cycle that walks you through every phase, from establishing the initial vision, understanding the business, all the way through to the technology and making sure the implementation is on track. It's all about that big strategic picture.
Our third contender is a bit of a special case. This is NAF version 4, the Multinational Coordinator. This framework was built for some serious, next-level complexity. It's used by organizations like NATO to get massive, incredibly complex systems from different organizations, even different countries, to all play nicely together.
If you remember one word for NAF, it's interoperability. How do you get a communication system from one nation to actually talk to a logistics system from another? Well, NAF tackles this by creating these different views, like a capability view or a system view, that describe the architecture from every possible angle, making sure everyone is speaking the same language.
And last but not least, we have IEEE 40-2010. Now, this one's the odd one out. Think of it as the universal language. It is not a method for designing an architecture, it's an international standard for describing one. Its only job is to give everyone a clear, common way to document and talk about an architecture so there are no misunderstandings.
Okay, so now that we've met the players, let's put them head to head. This is where it gets really interesting.
This table right here cuts right to the chase. Just look at their primary goals. AAD is laser-focused on designing a single piece of software. TOGAF is all about managing the whole enterprise. NAF is wrangling these massive, interconnected systems. And IEEE 4010, it's not even in the same game. It just wants to standardize how we talk about everything else. You see, they're not competitors. They're totally different tools for totally different jobs.
And that brings us to the how and the what. How do they work, and what do you actually get out of them? AD breaks things down to give you concrete architecture modules. TOGAF runs through its ADM lifecycle to produce those high-level enterprise documents. NAF uses its different viewpoints to create these complex models. And IEEE 40-2010. Its process is the standard, and its output is just a super clear, standardized description. Totally different outcomes. So let's talk pros and cons, starting with ADD. Its biggest pro, hands down, is that intense focus on quality attributes like performance and security. It's incredibly practical for building solid software. The trade-off? It doesn't really have much to say about that big picture, enterprise-level stuff.
And then you've got TOGAF, which is pretty much the exact opposite. Its strengths are exactly what ADD lacks: fantastic enterprise planning and strong governance. But the downside? Man, it can be a beast. It's often total overkill for a smaller, agile project. You know, the whole sledgehammer to crack a nut thing?
Now, NAF. Its power is absolutely undeniable when you're trying to get huge organizations to work together. But that power comes at a cost. It is seriously complex and highly specialized. Bottom line, if your project doesn't involve coordinating multiple nations or defense systems, NAF is just way too much framework.
Finally, IEEE 401010. And this is interesting, because its biggest strength is also its biggest weakness. It gives you a crystal clear standard way to write everything down, which is awesome for communication, but it gives you zero clues on how to come up with the design itself. It's like having a perfect grammar guide but no story to tell.
Okay, so after all that, what's the verdict? How in the world do you choose? Well, it's actually pretty simple. It's all about picking the right tool for the job.
All right, let's make this super simple. Here's your cheat sheet. If you're designing a specific software system where quality is everything, you grab ADD. If you are planning for the whole company and need to tie IT to business goals, that's a job for TOGAF. If you're building something massive that has to work across multiple big organizations, NAF is your go-to. And for any of these projects, when you need to document your plans clearly and consistently, you use the IEEE 4210 standard to do it.
So what are the big takeaways here? What have we really learned? Because it's about more than just memorizing a list of framework names.
Here are the big ones. First, these frameworks don't compete. They solve totally different problems. That means there's no silver bullet, no one-size-fits-all solution. At the end of the day, architecture is really just about one thing: managing complexity and reducing risk. And often, the smartest move is to mix and match. Use AAD for a system inside a bigger TOGAF plan, and use IEEE 42010 to write it all down. And that really brings us to what I think is the most important point of all. It's easy to get bogged down in the details of just one of these. The real skill, the true art of architecture, is understanding the landscape well enough to know exactly which tool to pull out for the specific problem you're facing right now.
So that leaves me with one last question for you. Think about what's on your plate right now, or what's coming down the pipeline next. Is it a focused software problem? A massive enterprise challenge? A complex coordination effort? What kind of blueprint does your next project really demand?